The EV market is crashing. People have finally realized EVs are not the future. But hold on to your hats because Koenigsegg just changed the game with their new engine. Koenigsegg just rolled out something that might just give all those EVs a run for their money. We're talking about their mind-blowing Camless engine. Yeah, you heard that right. An engine without cams. This isn't just new, it's revolutionary. With triple the range, no emissions, and power that's even put EVs to shame, this new engine will soon be seen in a cheap supercar that Koenigsegg is building. Founded in 1994 by a 22-year-old with a dream that sounded nearly impossible, Christian von Koenigsegg, this company started in a tiny garage. Fast forward a bit and boom! In 2002, they dropped the Koenigsegg CC8S, stealing the spotlight and showing the world they were not playing around. This beast wasn't just a supercar, it was a statement. Koenigsegg had arrived. But wait, it gets crazier. In 2005, they unleashed the CCR, and guess what? It smashed the world speed record for production cars, hitting a jaw-dropping 241 miles per hour. That's not driving, that's flying without leaving the ground. Then, as if breaking one world record wasn't enough, Koenigsegg said, "Hold my energy drink," and in 2015, the 1.1 comes roaring onto the scene. This monster was dubbed a megacar because it packed 1 megawatt of power. But now, this company wants to use its innovation to help out the common man and end the domination of greedy EV makers. Introducing the revolutionary Camless engine. It all starts with an electrical signal. This signal tells air to rush in, pushing down a piston, which in turn opens a valve. This is where things get cool. Once the valve is open, oil pressure steps in to lock it into place. It's like having a microscopic bodyguard ensuring everything stays exactly where it should be. And when it's time to close the valve, the system releases the air and oil pressure, and either an air spring or a mechanical spring snaps the valve back into the closed position. Now, you must be wondering, what's so special about all this? The answer is control. With this system, Koenigsegg can control each valve independently for any situation. High RPMs? Open those valves wide and keep them there. Low RPMs? Go for a smaller lift in a shorter duration. It's like having a custom setup for every driving condition. This isn't just about being fancy, it's about efficiency and power. We're talking up to 30% less fuel consumption, 30% more torque, and 90% fewer emissions. That's not just an upgrade, that's a complete overhaul of what we thought engines could do. But how will this benefit you as an ordinary buyer with a small budget? Well, Koenigsegg is planning to partner with Honda and bring this technology into cheaper models by 2028. And what's even more special is that they are building a cheap supercar. This is where the RAW project, a brainchild of Koenigsegg and its collaboration with NEVS, comes into the picture. With its debut, it promises to send shockwaves through the industry, not just with its performance, but with its broader accessibility. Since 2019, after joining forces with the Swedish EV manufacturer NEVS, Koenigsegg has been toying with the idea of an affordable supercar. The RAW concept, first unveiled in 2020, is the manifestation of this vision. Designed by Esa Stonen, who has worked with the likes of Renault and Genesis, the RAW concept is a blend of 1970s wedge shapes, superbikes, and jet fighters aesthetic. The RAW design is striking to say the least. It incorporates Koenigsegg's signature double bubble roof, reverse hinged dihedral helix doors, and an adaptive rear diffuser reminiscent of a jet fighter's afterburn. The exterior is adorned with razor-thin LEDs, lending to a futuristic look. The most intriguing aspect, however, is the 3-seat layout with a central driving position, aimed at giving the driver a sim racing feel. This layout is reminiscent of iconic cars like the McLaren F1 and the Gordon Murray T50, emphasizing the driver's experience. Under the hood, speculation suggests the use of the 2-liter free-valve turbocharged inline-3 engine known as the Gamera. Dubbed the Friendly Giant, this engine in the Gamera produces a staggering 590 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. But the Gamera's total output of 1,700 horsepower comes majorly from electric motors. This hints at the possibility of the raw concept either harnessing a similar hybrid setup or perhaps even going fully electric, especially considering Koenigsegg's collaboration with NEVS, a brand focused on battery electric vehicles. Koenigsegg entering the more affordable supercar market is not just a brand expansion, it's a potential industry disruptor. The raw concept, with its innovative design and potential hybrid or electric powertrain, stands to challenge the status quo of supercars. As per sources, this car could make its debut at a price tag of just $70,000, which is a bargain for the kind of performance you're gonna get. It could bridge the gap between ultra-exclusive hypercars and more widely accessible supercars, bringing Koenigsegg's cutting-edge technology and design to a broader audience. This time, they're revolutionizing not just their hypercars, but potentially the entire car industry with this free valve system. Remember when carburetors were the norm, and then came fuel injection? People in the 70s were skeptical. Computers controlling fuel? No way that could work. But it did. Today, electric fuel injection is the standard, but what about air intake? It's been kind of left behind in this technological evolution. That's where free valve comes in, a technology that applies the precise control we have over fuel to air, and the result? It makes Koenigsegg's cars not just fuel efficient, but ridiculously fast. So, what exactly is free valve? It's a system where the engine's valves are, as the name suggests, free. In traditional engines, the camshaft driven by the crankshaft controls the valves. The lobes of the camshaft push on rockers or lifters that then open the valves at the right time for air to enter or exhaust to exit. It's a delicate dance of mechanical timing. But this system, while reliable, isn't without its flaws. For instance, as the engine's RPMs increase, the window of time for the valves to open and close gets shorter. You get less air when you most need it. In the past, more aggressive cam profiles were used to counter this, but they come with their own sets of problems. For example, at lower revs, the engine would take in too much air, messing up the fuel combustion ratios. Variable valve timing systems like Honda's VTEC offered a workaround using two sets of cam lobes to change the valve operation depending on the RPMs, but it's still just a band-aid solution. Here's where free valve kicks in. Instead of a camshaft, each valve in a free valve system gets an electronically controlled actuator. This means valve operation is no longer mechanically determined, but electronically. Think of it like a map, but for valves. In every situation, the system knows the optimal state of each valve and adjusts accordingly. It's akin to having a fuel map for injectors, but for valves. The level of precision and control is just unprecedented. The advantages of free valves are numerous. The most obvious is having multiple cam profiles. It's like having an infinite number of camshaft configurations at your disposal. But it's more than just about variety, it's about precision. The valves in a free valve system are more digitized compared to the analog nature of traditional camshafts. Imagine a graph showing valve position over time. In traditional systems, the valve takes time to open and close, whereas in free valve, the valve can open instantly to full lift, stay there, then close just as quickly. This digital-like precision means more air can be let in more accurately within the same time frame. Swap out a traditional camshaft engine for a free valve setup, and you're looking at 30% more power and torque. But that's not all. Without cams, lifters, timing chains, intake manifolds, and throttle bodies, the engine becomes much smaller, and the response to your throttle inputs becomes more instantaneous. It's like having the benefits of individual throttle bodies, but amplified. Now for turbocharged engines, free valve offers a unique advantage, especially during cold starts. Typically, cold starts are when the most pollution occurs because the catalytic converters haven't heated up yet. In free valve engines, since the valves are individually controlled, those leading to the turbo can remain closed on cold start, and those leading to the catalytic converter can open earlier, even before combustion is complete. This allows the flame to travel into the exhaust, heating up the catalytic converter more quickly and reducing emissions. By now, you must be thinking, All this sounds amazing, but also expensive, right? Surprisingly, not as much as you'd think. Koenigsegg developed this technology, but the concept itself is quite straightforward. It's akin to what was done with fuel injection 50 years ago, but for valves. FreeValve has been looking to bring this tech to more mainstream cars, even working with a Chinese manufacturer, Koros, on a concept. The stage is all set, and only time will tell how big of a hit this new budget supercar and the Camless engine will be. Do you think Koenigsegg should just stick to EVs? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.